Hi everyone, this is Yana and welcome back to my video series called My Crafty Friends. My Crafty Friends is a series of videos from amazingly talented card makers that I plan to release once a month. By doing these videos, I'm hoping to introduce you, my viewers, and my blog readers to some of my friends who are also card makers, stampers, and die cutters. There are so many amazingly talented people out there that just blow me away with their creativity and their talents. I'm always fascinated and always inspired by their work, and I want to spread the word about them and introduce them to you. So maybe you'll also get inspired by their projects and become their fans like I have. Today I'm introducing Marika Rahtu. I love every single card done by Marika. She has some truly mad coloring skills, and she does wonders with stamps and various coloring mediums. When you look at her finished projects, you can't even tell that she used stamps. Her cards look like they've been created or painted from a blank sheet. She uses Copic markers, pencils, and watercolors to color her projects and does it incredibly well. If you want to improve your coloring skills, I highly recommend checking out Marika's blog and YouTube channel, and I'm sure you'll fall in love with her clean and simple cards like I have. I asked Marika to create a video tutorial for me to share here on my YouTube channel, and she agreed. So I'm sharing Marika's video with you today, and I hope you enjoy. I'll be back next month to introduce another crafty friend of mine.
Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Marika from Me and Mini Crafting, and I'm so honored to be as a guest here on Jana's YouTube channel. I was so excited about this wonderful opportunity, and I really hope you like what I came up with for this guest tutorial. Today I'm going to feature Alteny's new stamps from their January 2016 release and color the flowers with my favorite coloring medium, Copic markers combined to traditional colored pencils. Before we go into today's card, I'm sharing a little bit of myself. I started paper crafting about a year and a half ago when I enrolled myself into one of the online card classes. I really loved playing with paper, but more importantly, I started my love affair with coloring. Since then, I've enjoyed and more importantly relaxed while coloring with different coloring mediums from watercolors to Copic markers, and I have loved every minute of it. I've been honored to be invited to join in to two of my favorite stamp companies' design teams, and since spring 2015 I've been making video tutorials mainly on coloring, but I love to try out new things and techniques every once in a while, and if I find out something new, I'll share them with you on my YouTube channel. You can also find me on my blog called Me and Mini Crafting, and in Instagram, and maybe someday also in Periscope. But let's go into today's card tutorial. I love to do clean and simple cards, and lately I've also been into one-layer cards. So I started this card by stamping the flowers and the leaves on Botanical Garden set by Alteny, and I used Alteny inks for stamping. For the flower I used Frosty Pink, and for the greenery I used Frayed Leaf ink from Alteny. Since I'll be doing no-line coloring today, I used very light inks for stamping so that the lines wouldn't show and I could easily color over them. The difference between no-line coloring and black line coloring is that with no lines, you are able to get more realistic look, since in real life there are no lines. When coloring with no lines, the shape of the image is created by the shadows and the value, and I talk about them more a little later. Today I'm using Copic markers combined to traditional colored pencils. Copic markers are alcohol-based markers and they blend very nicely. In my coloring today, I use Copic markers as my base color or my base layer, and I sketch in my shadows with them. You could do the whole image with colored pencils or Copic markers. I just find that the combination of these two mediums fits well in my coloring technique. I love the fact that the base layer is so easily and quickly created with Copic markers, but with the help of colored pencils, I'm still able to get the very detailed look. As you see, within this coloring technique, you really don't need to be very precise with Copics. You can add the details later. Just loosely sketch in the shadows and do the rest with pencils. Since I colored all images with the same technique, I chose to show you only the coloring of this flower image and its greenery. Otherwise the video would have been way too long and I've lost your interest. I think the flower looks good as colored with Copics, but I love the effect what is gained by adding the pencil over it. I would compare this to focusing an image with your photo camera. The Copic version is a bit out of focus since this type of details are very hard to accomplish with Copic markers. But by adding the pencil over the Copic work, you can add more value, which basically just means that you can make your darkest parts of the image to be darker and the lightest to be more light. By adding pencil to your work, it is also so much easier to add more contrast to your work by cleaning up your edges, and that makes also a huge difference to your coloring. It will take a few minutes for me to add details to this image, so I'll turn on some background music for you. I will let you enjoy the coloring and I'll be back when I'm finished. Okay, now the coloring is done, and since this card took some time to color and I have so much details in the coloring, I usually keep the rest of the card pretty simple. I inked a bit of Shabby Shutters Distress ink to create my background. It also anchors my flowers to the base of the card. I used my favorite black ink to stamp my sentiment from birthday greeting set from Altenew. I also thought this card needed some weight to the base, so I added a string of green textured cardstock to make it more heavier at the bottom. To help the sentiment to catch the eye of the recipient, I added a butterfly that I had colored earlier for another card. I glued it in place with liquid glue and foam tape. To make this even more pretty and give it some sparkle, and I added a few sequins from Pretty Pink Posh. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this video and found it helpful. I list all the products that I used in my blog, and the link will be at the description below. Thank you very much for your time. See you soon. Bye!